almost really a fatal flaw of thinking about communications is, and I sat in the audience and said it, the time to communicate with your stakeholders, with your community, is not just at budget time, all year long. There's a lot of good things that go on at this school. There's a lot of information that we can put out to the public, to other board members, just as a function of just putting it out there, becoming a conduit of information. So I really see the communications committee personally. I'd love to see it as a standing committee, not as an ad hoc. In 2011, there's a lot you can do on communications. It should be highmost in our mind of how are we perceived as a school? How does the public see us? How can we do better in giving you all the information we have? Here it is. There's no barriers to knowing what we know, joining in. So I would disagree that communication committee would only give an adequate budget.
I didn't say that. What I said was I didn't know what we would need it for, and frankly, some of the publications that we would want to get out, or the information, the communication we want to get out, has to go through the administration. And we do have the websites, and the PTO has a newsletter, and guidance used to send out a newsletter at Mendham. I don't know if they still do or not. I don't know if they do that here. We have we have a newspaper at Mendham. We don't have a newspaper after here right
First
now.
issue of the online newspaper, SMAR Central, is out. And if you visit their website, you can click on it.
I didn't I just, since we
Brenda.
lost Barbara McClurkin, we have to, you have to control your message. So that's one thing I get concerned about. Where's the message coming from if it's not coming from the administration?
But wouldn't it be coming through the communications committee, which would work hand in hand? I mean, I don't think the communications
never done
committee
that.
would be a rogue group.
We didn't do that. We didn't. Who's responsible ultimately for what comes out of this school? The superintendent. So I would think it has to go under the superintendent.
Or the president as the board spokesman, but in either case, I think the communication committee that, I'm so wrong, that you're envisioning, reactivating, would work on several different levels, feeding the information, helping the administration to disseminate information, and what information. It could be as simple as sports scores, or as complex as your report on mathematics, which is fascinating.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a great thing to put out to the...
And that's the idea, is to,
You have to control it.
well, yes,
Yeah,
but
what if it's
I
wrong?
agree. It has to come through the administration or through the board spokesperson. But as long as we have those controls, I think it's a great idea. And maybe we have to develop some parameters around that, and I think we can use our administration to help us with that.
I was thinking also, since we're redoing the policies about all of this, that maybe we should look at something like that, through policy, before we jump ahead to make sure that we've got everything in order, so that we don't put the cart ahead of the horse.
You've lost a little bit on that, Kristen. I think what, correct me if I'm wrong, I think what Marcia just proposed, and I seconded, is that we reactivate something that already existed last year. So we've done this already.
We did it in what sounds like a different fashion, and you brought up the point that the policy is not consistent with what we had done in the past. So I'd like to make sure that we are consistent with policy, and we're, in the middle of redoing all of those policies at the moment.
What do you envision this to be, Marcia? How do you envision this to work?
Right, well, I served on this ad hoc communications committee with Sue Gilmet, and we had some really terrific meetings. We brought together website administrators of both schools. We had some student stakeholders. We had Sue and I believe Dr. Hunter was in on a couple of the meetings. And quite frankly, it didn't last as long as it needed to get the results that we both wanted. But at least I joined it because I saw it as a way to get more information out to the public. And,
So you had like different sections of the communications?
well, one of our first chores was to look at the websites. Are the websites saying everything we wanted to say? Are they, and we had the webmaster sitting with us, and the students really were driving a lot of great content. And we said to the webmaster, how hard is that to do? He's like, no problem, give it to me. So at the beginning, it was a lot of brainstorming about what are we putting out right now? What do we want to put out? How can we improve it? That's really just the first step, is to get the people together and where are their deficiencies.
Was there a stated goal last time? And was this, did this arise, this committee, out of, I don't remember, out of
Stated
action
goal was
of?
to put together a college information contact list
Yeah.
for parents who are willing to talk to kids about their school that they had attended and possibly write a letter of recommendation.
Well, I think it was also that, and it was also getting out of college. This person works for X company, and they're hiring, and that sort of thing, if I'm correct, right?
And did it arise out of an action by the board?
No.
How did it arise?
The goal?
No, was there, the committee itself, was there a motion, and did we vote on it?
Yes. I believe so, although,
Establish it.
form and then
I think the board also realized that we had lost our grant writer and our writer of news and views, and that we had lost that form of communication to the public. Because once or twice a year, news and views came out. It went to all the residents
Twice a year.
of all 5 towns.
Yes.
Not just parents, but all residents. So we've lost that, and I think we've lost that was one of the few ways we actually could communicate with everybody.
And there's actually many more free tools that schools can use other than a principal mail newsletter.
Right.
So that's really the dark ages.
Right,
Yes,
yeah.
but we had lost that, and we had not replaced it.
Well, all this is raising the question in my mind of whether the committee still exists, that and this policy 9130 that says committees, referring to special committees of the board, committees shall be dissolved upon completion of their assignment. So perhaps this committee still exists.
I would suggest at this hour that we might consider tabling the motion so that we can get a little more information on whether the committee actually exists, how we formed it, if it's what the policy is, or, any proposed policy might be guiding ad hoc committees.
Well, we just let Marcia say this is what we did, this is where we ended, and this is how she wants to continue.
So you're looking for a proposal from me?
Sure. Sounds good. See how you expect it to continue. This is what we did, this is where we ended, this is how we expect to take it forward.
So what do I do with my motion?
Well, we still have to second it, but a real request for tabling.
However, though, I think that because this is a new board, previous board can't bind, or
Right.
the previous board can't bind the existing board, so I think to have a motion to approve it again would be prudent. Though it was approved, it was approved by a previous board. This is a new board as of the reorganization, and a previous board can't bind this current board, so.
Just a point of clarification, a number of times we've had board members resign and new ones be appointed. Does that also constitute a new board, or you have to do it?
Reorganization.
It's a reorganization after
Just
an
a
election,
reorganization.
yeah. So I would think that you could simply, move forward as opposed to, it may be your purpose, but as far as establishing the ad hoc committee, you could do that.
And the motion to table
No, well, I don't think you've got a motion.
I didn't make a motion, I suggested that as one option, but we have not made the motion.
like Jim, think it's a great idea, that Joe supports it. And I am very reluctant to, in any way, quell the enthusiasm, the obvious enthusiasm of the new board members. I think this board's first reaction to new ideas should be why not, rather than think of reasons why. So, I support it.
I like Joe's idea of having a plan and goals in place before I know what I'm voting on. So not that I'm opposed to having the communications committee again, I just want to know what the goals are and the reporting structure. That was kind of loose last year, and I don't know that we got a lot of reports to the board from the committee on what was going on. So,
What's the purpose of an ad hoc committee to what?
To supplement standing committees.
We essentially have an ad hoc committee for facilities, regarding
Facilities and energy and facilities.
so we would need, when there's an issue or question regarding facilities or solar things.
Jack, in answer to your question, special ad hoc committees of the board may be created for special assignments.
So what is exactly the special assignment?
Improve, enhance communication between the district and the public. I don't want to speak to you, but that's how I
just the
understand.
very basic, that's sensible.
But you don't have any other,
Well,
Any
my
specific
assumption
goals?
was that if it's already been established, all those parameters were there. I mean, it was a standing
they weren't
committee.
really, and that's
So
because it was
I'm
unclear.
bumping
in
up
how-
against something I wasn't aware that it was so, wide open and people weren't supportive of it. So you're kind of catching me.
I don't think anybody's not supportive of it, I just think it kind of, like, went a little dead there after a while, so I think, let's see what it's gonna do. Sounds good to everybody, I think, around here, so what are we gonna lead it to? You think you're gonna lead it to here?
So if this motion is
Put
approved,
gas in the tank, go
at the
nuts.
next meeting, I would come forward with, here's the goals of the communications committee. Is that fair?
Well, just because Jamie's got the policy book, does the president appoint the chair, or how does that, how does that work?
You opens
Or does
mouth.
Or does the board vote on it? I don't know.
But the facilities committee is limited to board members and the committee. So, that's an ad hoc committee.
Right.
So an ad hoc communications committee would be limited to board members and administration.
No.
I have an answer your question. What Jack said is not consistent. There's no such limitation.
And then
No, I just said that's
where we're
the
doing the
practice.
policies.
Right.
Well, let me answer your question if I can. The committee shall be established through action of the board. The committee chairperson and members shall be appointed by the board president and approved by the board. So, board approved, I guess. The committee shall be provided with a list of its functions and duties. The committee may make recommendations for board action, but may not act for the board. Board president and superintendent shall be ex officio members of all such committees. And committees shall be dissolved upon completion of their assignment.
So then it would be more like what we do with standing committees. We can vote to approve the committee, but then we can put a structure in place and goals in place before we move forward.
It says the board gives the committee the assignment.
Okay.
Well, I'm just thinking the ad hoc facility and energy committee probably should be reapproved as well.
Can we do both of those? I still have a lot to get done. Can we do both of those at the next board meeting? Can we go to table this and then put them both on the agenda for the next board meeting?
Prioritize.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Is that a motion to table this?